Hi, welcome to the Freeman Conversations. I'm Joe Bertocca, the online editor of the Freeman. Thank you very much for joining us this very rainy Wednesday. Before we begin with our conversation, we'd like to give you an update on the landslide in Barangay Tinaan, Naga City in Cebu Province. As of 2 p.m. today, 6 have been confirmed dead, and at least six others have been confirmed injured, and at least 60 have been missing, are still missing. Following the landslide that occurred today, at least 20 houses are buried in soil in Barangay Tinanaga, and rescuers and government officials continue to participate in recovery efforts. Would like to wish them the best of luck, and hopefully no more destruction will happen after today. But for now, we'd like to welcome you to this special episode of our series for the Cebu Press Freedom Week celebration. With us in the studio live here in the Freeman Conversations are our colleagues from Sunstar, Cebu Daily News, and of course our reporters in the Freeman. From Sunstar, we have Ma'am Princess. From Cebu Daily News, we have Sir Jose Santino. And of course from the Freeman, my boss, Ma'am Grace Lacamiento, and Ma'am Jean Demnesilio. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us today, and welcome to the Freeman and to the Freeman Conversations.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
This is Cebu Press Freedom Week, and you might be wondering why they're here. Well, the Cebu Press Freedom Week is a week once a year. All of us here in Cebu gather. All of us journalists in Cebu gather to discuss our issues, our challenges, and our best practices, and to also come together to have fun, at least once a year. We set aside competition to bond at least once a year. And today we'll be discussing, we're joined by these young journalists because we want to know how they are, how their practice is here in Cebu. I'd like to thank, of course, their news organizations for allowing them to be here. Thank you very much to your boss, Lynette Ramos, for saying yes, for allowing Princess to be here, and of course, Doris Bongkap, a special mention to Doris of CDN for allowing Santino to be here. These are perhaps four of the most dependable journalists from among the three major dailies in Cebu Province, and they're here to tell us how they are. How has being a journalist been? You've been a journalist for how long already, Santino?
Me, I've been a journalist for over 6 years already.
How has it been so far? You graduated from the University of the Philippines.
Yes,
here in
Cebu. And I graduated in 2013, but I actually started writing for CBN in 2012 as an intern. And then as a student correspondent, and then eventually after I graduated, I started as a correspondent and then a full-time reporter.
You took up a communication degree
Mass communication
course in UP. Ma'am Princess?
I've been with Sunstar for 9 years.
Wow.
After the 9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I graduated sa Xavier University, Ateneo de Calayan. I graduated 2009. DevCom.
Oh my God, you're so
I didn't sir sa year.
Don't worry, I graduated in 2001. Yeah.
And then,
What brought you to Cebu?
just adventure.
Wow.
But you are really from Cagayan.
No, I'm from Zamboanga del Sur.
Okay.
I studied in Cagayan de Oro, and then I came here just to find work.
Okay. Good. And of course, Ma'am Jean and Ma'am Grace were our interns in the Freeman before they formally joined the company. And actually, the three of them here, just a trivia. Two of them are Miss Cebu Press Freedom winners. And Ma'am Princess was also a candidate in the annual Mr. and Miss Cebu Press Freedom.
And Santi.
And Santi.
That's
Future. Okay, Ma'am Grace and Ma'am Jean, you're also com graduates from the University of San Jose Recoletos. What made you decide to really join the profession?
Ikaw din. Mas una mo ganun. Ano sir, wala ko choice. Because I wanted to do broadcast, and then while waiting for feedback, I wanted
You
to
joined the
try
Freeman. Okay.
print, and then the longer I stayed here, I love the craft about the print.
But your internship, aside from the Freeman, you also went to ABS,
Yes.
CBN, correct? Okay. Ma'am Jean.
Actually, the internship has really one of the factors that made me decide to join this industry. I have learned so much during my internship in 2013, and one of those was that being in this industry, kay murag daghan kay kag ma-learn sir ba, like daghan sa kag mga atubang different individuals, especially important people.
That's true.
The president, the mayor, the governor. So, and being one of the few people to be kanang ikaw first hand information.
Yeah.
That's one of the glories of being a reporter.
Getting to know first.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And that made me decide to join and stay with the Freeman.
That's good to know. We actually decided to invite you over because we want you to share, to give some inspiration. The industry in general is facing tremendous challenges, and many of our comm graduates, the fact is, the reality is, many of the comm graduates don't actually join the media after graduation. For example, in my batch, there were 35 of us who graduated from Cebu University, but only 3 of us are in the media today. What about you? What was your case?
In our batch, I think there are around 20 of us who graduated in 2013. And it started with, there were 3 of us who actually pursued a career in the media, in the local media. And then 1 went out, and then 2 came in. And then right now, I think there's only 2 of us.
You and
King.
Oh, I see. Let's say hi to King Anthony Perez, the head of online of CBN, also formerly a reporter of TV5
Yes.
here in Cebu. My princess, what about you?
I'm sorry, sir.
In your batch, how many are you in the media now?
Ang course man, sir, is development communication, and then 35 yung kabuok. And then those who majored in journalism, 11.
Okay.
But out of the 11, mga 2 lang ang pursued a career sa media, but ako ang nagdugay.
Wow.
So you're the only one now.
Oo, na nasa media.
Good
As
for you.
far as I know,
As far as you know, okay, good for you. What about you guys?
Catch on
60,
60, sir.
6-0? When you
6-0,
graduated from
yes.
USJR,
Yes,
and
60,
your
15 to
batch?
60.
Okay. And
2014.
how many are you in the media now?
I think 2 na lang kami ngayon. Oo, pero daghan mi pag-graduate sir, after graduation kay daghan ang ni pero I don't know the number actually, but Mayang, Michael Braga, Michael Braga, Jave Matugas, Fatima Sikuya, and many others. So, but I can I think kami na lang yung Miami State.
Yeah, because Michael is now with the Cebu City government. Fatima is already with
DENR.
DENR.
Yes, and Jave also.
Yes, correct. Ma'am Grace, what about you?
Daghan
What
mi,
about
sir.
your batch?
Daghan mi sa media. Sa radio na si Mang Clark, pasuwit DJ Kimya, na si Marisa Abadja sa WHP, si Desame Padilla, si Razal Quizon sa Sunstar, sa si Da Vinci sa ABS-CBN, Da Vinci Maru, if na pa siya sa ABS-CBN, si Patrick na sa film making.
That's very good news. Okay, because I don't know why that has been the scenario. Maybe because it's difficult to do journalism, particularly community journalism, when the reality is we're not really paid that well.
Yes.
I mean, that's just the reality. Unlike, of course, our national counterparts, they're paid really, really well. But in the reality of community journalism in the Philippines is that news organizations just don't have that much resource as compared to the bigger news organizations in the capital. Okay, what have you realized so far, having practiced community journalism, particularly here in Cebu for the past 6 years for you and 9 years for you, Ma'am Princess? Your lessons, realizations. Was it worth it?
Of course, I wouldn't be here if it's not for the experience, my experiences for the past 9 years. Sorry ko, sir. Organizations. Kanang ang work is kanang tedious good. And then ang imo ko ang work sa field kay time consuming.
Yes.
And then you spend most of your time sa field, and then maghuwat sa sources most of the time. And then, but worth it naman siya at the end of the day. Ma-meet mo ang deadlines, you can submit your stories on time. Ang fulfillment kay
It's different. Yeah, when you see your byline, right?
Especially kung ano yung byline.
Sandino, what about you?
Yeah, I think I agree that the work itself is hard. Like it's very it demands a lot of your time and effort. But at the end of the day, after you finish your stories and it is read by people, actually read by people, it's a rewarding experience. Like, it's a rewarding feeling. Like being in a community like Cebu, you know that what you write, it has an impact. Like
People actually read the news here.
Yes, and what you write and what you put out there, it makes a difference. So that's the kind of reward you can get.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Anjin, what about you?
Realization, sir, that many people still don't trust the media.
Can I?
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if you want to
I
join
really
the
object,
conversations, please join us. If you have questions, if you have comments, feel free to
Maybe-
type them down in the comment section.
Don't trust the media because they chose to spread fake news over the kanang legitimate na news organizations na
Okay.
they are
Yeah.
posting verified information compared to those fake pages or fake websites. And that I think that's the challenge of the reporters and journalists actually, sir, because how to stop that misinformation or how to give the public how to explain to the public that we actually grabe atong effort sa pag-gather of news and sa pag-verify sa news, but they chose not to believe the legitimate. I think just for me lang, sir, wala akong na-realize na bisag kung sa effort sa reporter, many still don't believe the objectivity of the media institutions in Cebu.
Yeah, that's a good observation, and we'll discuss more about that in a while.
Object
Grace.
ka, dear?
Really, ni-object ko because I know nga na I trust the public sa media, sir. Even katong pag-start na to, even before wala pa tanaan sa industry. Ang hitabo naman good is with the advent of technology sa social media, muna nila sa trust sa ato. Muna challenge
Why did you think?
because the accessibility of news na dali ra sila.
Free.
Anyone can write news, mapara nila at kanang they can believe anything na lang written sa social media at kanang by persons nga kanang pretending to be legitimate media. Ang nakanindot mo good, sir, is if kami murag ang ako responsibility na ko to tell my friends, to tell the public na mo bitaw mag-share ko sa ako ang account na mo ni tinuod. And then kana na siya, fulfilling din siya kay nakoy mga kailan ang mga tanan Grace, nakoy nakita ni inani tinuod ni. Sumod ko ako sa i-verify ha ayaw lang sa i-share na or wala lagi ni gawa sa Freeman or sa Sunset or sa City at sa dili sa nimo. Ano mo naagi hapoy ni believe actually kay
Okay.
Gamay na lang.
Okay, let's discuss that in a while. Share with us your memorable experiences as a reporter, especially when you were still starting off. When you were very new in the field, what were your memorable experiences? Because the four of you have covered really significant, major needs. Local government, particularly Cebu City. Ma'am Grace here, before she joined the online team of the Freeman, was part of the police beat as well as the business beat. So,
court.
yeah. The justice beat. What were your memorable experiences?
Go.
Go.
Should I start? I think during our batch of reporters, many of the older generations would tell us na we're lucky now. Lucky is the term kay we're able to cover major events during our time. Like when I started in 2013 as a full-time correspondent, that was the ship sinking.
Yes,
And
yes.
the to-go ship sinking in
Yeah.
Talisay.
Yeah.
And then later on in that year, the Yolanda.
Earthquake
And
first.
earthquake also.
Earthquake in
Yeah,
September.
so they would say,
Yeah.
And then in October.
October
No, October,
October,
and
November.
November,
That's
the
right.
Yolanda. So they were saying na
So you were met with three major stories
in 1 year. So I think that was really one of the most memorable experiences that our batch of reporters. Would you agree?
Were you not overwhelmed with those three stories? What
In
was
my
your
case-
specific participation in writing those stories?
Actually, in our case, it's not that heavy of a coverage because for us in City Hall, we were mostly at the command centers. So like we did go out in the field in the actual scenarios, but not as much as those. For example, covering the province, like during Yolanda, they had to go to Bantayan. But for us, especially during the ship sinking, we were covering the command conferences that had been happening after the tragedy, and then also during the earthquake, the updates, things like that. So, but it was still a major experience.
Yeah. To our viewers who might have forgotten what happened in 2013, we just want to remind you the ship sinking that Santinos is talking about. This happened with two ships, two big ships colliding off the Cabot Island, Lavas Ledge, off the South Road properties in Cebu City, and that was a major disaster because many, of course, died in that incident. And then a few months later, a 7.2 magnitude earthquake struck Bohol Island, which of course also affected Cebu. And then just barely a month after, the super typhoon Yolanda hit the Philippines, eastern Visayas, and of course that was a major disaster. And that also affected the Philippines because we also experienced the typhoon here. What about you, Ma'am Grace? Let's begin with you. What are your memorable coverage?
Kanang simang man ko nga pagkatapos. Kaya ang ko magod is dili man matter sa kada ko ang coverage sa gamay. Ang ko is more magud ko sa kanang plain, kanang simple ng mga tao ba. Kanang more on hearing their stories. Kaya I want the public to hear
Stories of ordinary people.
Stories of ordinary. Mas malinaw ko og suwat og kanang mga feature ng mga, for example, kanang visiting maron mga Yolanda ng mga victims or fire victims or kanang mag-recount sila sa mga experiences nga lang ingani di ay. So I want them para na ko mas challenging o mas interesting na siya for me as a journalist.
Compared to the huge
or like covering mga dagko ng mga tao. Okay, pag katong kang Duterte, naka-cover ko, pero kanang nahit-rigid siya ang feeling yun. I think their voices have to be heard, di ba?
I think that's a really different fulfillment when you get to magnify, right? The image of those who normally don't get attention or coverage for that matter. Aside from joining Miss Press Freedom, actually, by the way, you and Ma'am Princess were batchmates in the 2013 Miss Press Freedom, 2014.
14.
Was Ma'am Princess your runner-up, right?
Yeah.
First
Yes,
runner-up.
yes.
So I'm actually
She was my winner.
sandwiched by beauty queen.
A memorable experience. Ako remember just sir katong baby taping incident in
Yes, at a hospital
in a
here.
hospital here in Cebu.
Exclusive ba to?
Oh yes, that was my first exclusive story.
How did it feel?
Very overwhelming, sir. Kay, people in the newsroom, I really didn't know about exclusive stories at that time. Kay I was just a new correspondent here at the Freeman, but people were saying, "Oh, congratulations! You have that story."
You were not aware it was going to be that big.
Yes. Oh, then after that, the fulfillment of getting exclusive stories for the Freeman kay dito na anha na
Your motivation.
to strive hard and to look for relevant and exclusive stories with this kami ko tawa na sa City Hall.
Your colleagues in the field,
Yes,
yeah.
Kay grabe sa kana sila ka mga banggiitan sa City Hall during my time.
Before we continue, we'd like to say hi to our colleagues in the profession. Well, one of them is a traitor because he left us. Hi, Michael Braga. Thanks for joining us. Ms. Nervis Gochoco. We have Crisanta Itorma and Mark Cosap. CDN is also watching. Thanks for watching. If you have comments, and Clayville Avila also is watching. If you have comments, please join us in the conversation. We'd be very glad to hear from you. Okay, I'm pretty sure that when we were in school, we were taught to be idealistic. Because we were learning theories and we were learning concepts. What were your expectations of the Cebu media before you joined? And did the profession meet these expectations?
Go, Princess.
Ako, sir, ato kay... Ako rin
By the way, why did you decide to come here? Why not practice in Mindanao?
Doon ako explore of new areas, sir.
Okay.
More small, magamayan ako, sir.
Okay.
Kanang... Wait, what you was there? Expectations.
When you were in school,
Right.
yeah.
Actually, ako ang i-expect ato sir no nga mag-cover ako first i-applyan sa Sunstar Sports mangod sir.
Wow.
I see.
She's a tennis player, by the way.
I see, yeah.
Shallow ra gid akong idea. Shallow ra gid akong expectation ato nga time sir. Like maka-interview ko big time personality sa sports, na maka-travel, ano yung mga reach outside and then
Tennis player turned volleyball player.
and then aside ano yung mga perks sa job ba, but after working for how many years sa media, naka-realize ka, more than the perks is the emotional fulfillment gani of kanang doing what you love, writing sa mga stories that matter sa lives sa mga people, and then helping them make kanang informed decisions ba. So mo naka-realize ko nga, shallow rate akong gipang
At first, okay.
Kadagay kinalabing mo ang craft yan, sir.
It's very good to know. Sabina.
Maybe before entering the industry, I imagined it to be like.
Perhaps it was different in your case because I believe most of your professors are also practicing journalists in UP Cebu. Yeah.
But most of them are like, I would say na lang, pero maybe I expected the work itself to be all too serious. Like just work, report, write, interview, things like that. When I got into the actual work, you see that those working in the media industry are also people like everyone else. Like we know how to
Have fun.
Yes, balance work and life, things like that. So
Those are your expectations. Yeah. Grace.
Expectations, sir.
Yes, when you were in school.
Gamay sa...
I'm sure the industry met that expectation.
You were
Yeah.
informed yun. Nga, when you venture to media industry, kana, gamay rin siya compensation. But, kana ang fulfillment, ang fulfillment, grabe gani. Mas kana mo exceed gani sa financial kana
Return. Okay.
So, which is true. when I get here, kanang gamay siya.
It's just a fact of life that we have to admit.
Yeah, pero ang nakanindot na is kanang pwede na mong ta makakita lain sa opportunities together with it. So kanang pwede na nato mabalance itong passion and then make a living as well ba. So yeah, kanang at the end of the day malipay ra ka kay fulfilled gani kay happy ka sa imong job. Although dili kay nana ka dako.
Nasa ko sir.
Sure, of course, yeah.
I remember ba like idea ko tanong ay sa ako alam na ko hearsay malunggan na hearsay na gani. Kami malunggan nga kana na yung mga sources kanay sir nga maghatag ka ng mami. Wala ko na expect ato sir nga tinuod gyud na siya ba nga nabitaw gyud na siya. Sa imo bang idealistic yung far-fetched siya kay siya nga pero naa gyud ay sir ba mo to na shock na lang ko nga. Na-gyud niya.
Kasi yung ginawad.
Wala kanang nice ay wala nang gidawat to oy nahambong siya sa floor ako naulaw na lang ko to kay ang staff yan lang ipunit balik.
But you know, that's really something that the industry here in Cebu is really proud of. That we know how to say no to those kinds of temptations. But of course, there are always rotten eggs in the basket, but in general, that's really the reputation of the Cebu media looking out from outside.
I also have something to add to Grace's realization.
Thank you.
Yeah, because even if you think that you're not that well financially compensated, I think the experiences you get from doing the work is more than enough to
Compensate
keep you
for,
going.
yeah.
Like
Okay.
I mean, I have experienced so many things working as a reporter that I would never have experienced had I been somewhere else. So I think that in itself is
For
more than
example,
enough
for example.
compensation. For example,
Yeah.
the fact that you meet so many people every day, like every single day, from the most important people, officials, to down to the those in the mountains, those that cannot go out to the city, things like that.
From kings and queens to people in the street.
Yes.
Ako siya sir, naka-experience ako atong
Envelope.
Envelopes.
envelope. Actually, I turned it over to
Yeah. I think we all experienced.
Yes.
Yeah, intern pa kay
I was intern at the time covering for a basta public official
Yeah,
na lang
yeah,
okay. Then I was terrified at that time kay intern
Of
pala
course,
yung agency.
yeah.
No, I will not accept that. Oh,
Yeah.
Then pero i-push you ka to na nagukusa ka ng wala ka mura kung nag-drama yun. No sir, no, I will not accept that. Pero hatag yun niya, pang taxi tapos 1,000. Barato mang taxi sir.
But okay, just to put it in proper context, not everyone who has or who gives money to reporters actually want to buy the report
Yes.
or the story. Because okay, we are in the Philippines, we are in Asia. Asians in general are generous people. So the utang na loob is there. It's part of our culture. We are very generous. So many of the sources give money out simply because they want to say thank you.
Yeah.
But
Especially in business bit.
yeah,
Yes.
but the thing is, it's really that's why it's really up to the journalist.
Yeah.
What the journalist's values are. Should you accept or not accept? Okay, but these are serious conversations. But before we delve deeper into these topics, I'd like to ask, what made you decide to take up communication or journalism in the first place?
Walay mas.
Me too.
I'm sure you're
I
wrong.
love math.
I'm sure you're.
Ay, gamay ra mo ma.
Gamay ra.
Pero akong
I'm sure you were proven wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, pero nagya pa algebra.
Aside from the
Ano, ganahan ko mag-reporter. Ganahan ko na ako yung camera, mag-stand upper.
Wow, something
Ganahan ko
Why?
makita sa...
yeah.
Sa
Why?
TV.
Because ganahan ko public speaking sir sa una, ratio, extempo, ngayon na ba? So, feel ako kay... Ganahan, unta ko kanang frustration yun ako ang broadcast yun. Grabe
Okay.
yun. Pero karon kang murag, di na ko kabawas sa Bisaya. Pwede English.
Yeah. What about you, Eugene?
I was a writer sa pag-elementary na ko sir pero dili kayo siya serious at that time kay kanang ko ano lagi kanang mga sports fest, intramurals,
press con, yeah. I remember when I was in high school, my school paper advisor, but the very first article I submitted for the school paper, my school paper advisor wrote, "Your article is so wordy."
You experienced it, sir.
I did not know what that meant.
Oh my God.
I did not know what that meant, but that got me thinking. How can I improve this? So anyway, go ahead.
Yes, that was the kanang kuan sir nga okay nindot man day siya murag basta ka na makakita kag pag i-invite mo gud mi ato sir og press con sa Danao and night public official dito nga murag look up to sa everyone gyud niya. I was there nga naka-experience ako nga nag-interview mi niya na siya sa among atubangan nga very close nga wow this kanang feeling sir ba nga pwede ka makasuwat di ay nga kanang mumatay sad siya sa inyong community. So dito ko nakaingon sa kong mama nga ganahan ko ma-reporter pero wako pa ko kay about atong mass communication at that time pag elementary na ako kay and when I entered in high school I did not have the chance to join the school's publication because I forgot na the reason mo tong nga yan ko nga mass communication ko ini ka college.
So your mind was fixed as early as high school.
Yes.
Wow.
No.
Good for you.
No.
Sir Sandy,
Sorry,
what about you?
Sans.
Have you always wanted to?
No, actually, when I was a kid, I never thought nga I would end up writing news articles. Growing up,
Me also, I wanted to be a doctor.
Ako, I wanted to be a doctor for animals, so I wanted to take up veterinary medicine. And then eventually, watching so many documentaries like sa TV, I wanted really to become to take up marine biology. I wanted to work in
Sciences. You wanted to be.
like more of the animals good. I really love
Why?
animals.
What's with the love for animals?
I grew up with a dog. In our home in Bohol kasi. Wala, it's really a provincial life, like
Where in Bohol?
Dawis, Bohol.
Okay.
I grew up playing with goats, mga cows, may anak ba. I owned a pet, cats, may anak. So I wanted to take up veterinary medicine and also watching movies about animals. So, and pag high school sad na ako, I studied in a tech-book na school in Bohol sa State University. So, medyo na in love sad ko in that kind of profession. So, I actually wanted to take up engineering at some point in high school. And then, at the latter, I think on my last year's high school, that's when I started to like writing. Like, but kung ano siya, like more fiction writing and literary. And then, niabot sa time nga they were asking for applications sa UP, sa admission test sa UPCAD. And then, wala lang, nagtanong-tanong ako, ano sa man yung course? Which, you get to choose 2 campuses man, and per campus kay 2 courses. So, pili ko isa campus.
Asa man?
Taas kayong list. Pili na ka, sa may pinakaganahan ako ano yung course ever niya. Number 1 man ako kay Cebu because the older sa Bohol. And then Cebu kay 8 naman ang courses. So number 1 yung napili is mass comm kay mo na. I started to like writing at the end part of my sa high school. So number 1 ako ang mass comm. And actually kung number 2 was computer science. So wala gyud ko like kanang set nga goal ba or kanang set nga path to take. But eventually ganahan sad ko.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What made you stick to the course?
Actually, because ang mass comm sa UP is we get to really experience everything like from broadcast, print, TV, radio. So, unlike recently you get to specialize na starting sa second year. During our time, we had to go through everything. So, I found it enjoyable, the actual work, the writing, the shooting, mag-shoot sa mga film or mga for projects, things like that.
Okay. Ma'am Princess, what about you?
I grew up as an introvert, mga good sir. Introvert, di ka naman. Ba, muna, mas maka-express ko sa akong thoughts through writing and speaking then. And then, sa later part sa high school, pinapalapilutan ng mga press con. Pag mga 4th year na, nag-realize kong mas ganahan ko magsuwat ka ni good sir. Kung pag-graduate na sa high school, kaya decide ko mag-mass comm, but sa Xavier mo kung walay mass comm, so mo ito nag-DevCom.
Okay. Lessons from DevCom that are very useful in your practice today.
Journalism 101, sir. Ay mo pa, kailangan kay Greg.
No, yeah, because DevCom was one of my most difficult subjects in college. Because when you study DevCom, it takes a lot of research. It takes a lot. That's true. Much writing, field work, grassroots, interaction, community work. Yeah. So now that you're in community journalism, how did your course help you?
Kanang sir, you have to bear in your mind na you're writing not for sa imuhang glory but for your community kanina na ang gusto ay may impact sa people to help update their lives or improve their lives and help them make better and informed decisions and choices.
Jean, what about you?
DevCom?
Yeah. No.
Ano po, sir?
Yeah.
Sa expectation?
Yes. How did your course in college prepare you for the profession? Because we have different subjects.
Like hi Sir Rami. Tungod siguro sa amo ang teachers sir kay daghan kay sila gingo na mga itudlo sa imuha theories niya pa-apply sa me through kanang pa-field dun sa me sir bisag dili pa may wala pa yung internship field me then look for relevant stories then I remember ko ba that at that time nga akong gikuha kay pag-plite gani sa mga students sir nga gamay kayo giso ako nang dili sakto ang pag nakalimutan ako sa so ang pag college sir dako jud kay siya natabang kay dili masagay ko maayod nga writer pero ang nagmold sa amo nga become better ba sir kay amo sa teachers
Okay.
daghan feature writing, opinion writing.
Yes.
Daghan pa sir.
Ma'am Grace.
Ano, dagan may nagkatanan si Sanusa sir kaysa Mascom gud sa Sanusa lang. Dagan mo mga practitioners nga kanang teachers kita mo ba, and then we look up to them manggod. Ang nakaano man gud sa ako, ang nakatatak man gud sa ako sa Mascom na naka-info ganahan ko mag-media is ang IJ, investigative journalism. Dito ko nag-ano, ang project ato is about katong slaughterhouse sa Mandaue, and then naghan kay mga illegal nga mga kuna pwede ta makapapukaw inanawa kana pwede ta mara sa tawag na
Open the eyes of the public, yeah.
Open the eyes nga the kind of issues there and dito nag-start na naganahan ko sa ko mga inani more inani man sa misa wala sa high school sa elementary sa school publication kanang mga kada ganing kontrahan mo ang administration school administration
Okay.
Lahi karon ba mas dagko gani imong ano then naging kay sundon nga mga paper trail kanang people trail so nabi day sistema gid ay sa media gid.
What about IJ do you like so much? Aside from the hard work that comes along with it.
Sorry?
What about IJ do you like so much? Because if you do investigative journalism, that takes a lot of time,
Yes.
a lot of effort. Many
yeah.
investigative stories even take years
Yes.
to finish.
Oh.
Sometimes they don't even get finished.
Yeah. And then ay ibang sources nga kanang mailapit sa this lang ginana.
Yes, that's true.
Challenge siya sir na so meaning sa kalisod ani nga topic it has to be heard and kanang the public has to know yun kailangan something dili nga ginataguan na we have to know nga maka-affect ka sa ila and then what's not about ay inani din mo di nagsuffer ko inani because inani din ang issue di underlying issue nga wala ginatackle sa government officials so kita ang bridge nga kanang sa ilang duha ba na reconcile sila and then namo gid ang IJ na sa end sa part namo kay murag call for action na yung resolution so murag ikaw na nakatabang ka as a journalist or as bisag Mascom student pa then dito ko na ano ganahan mo na ganahan ka mga special reports or kanang mga docu ganahan ko na matanaw ni na.
Good for you, lucky for us, lucky us. So, what challenges did you face, especially in those first few years in the profession?
Hindi ko pa-interview, sir. Or kanang tawagan yung mga source, hindi ka tubagon niya. Kasi bundakan lang ka.
Yes.
Email ka. Kasi yung comment ni sir, it's none of your business.
Yes.
The first iko, sir.
Okay.
Third iko, motto. Along the way, you have to realize na dapat may 9 source.
Yeah.
You have to interview more people, ba? Hindi lang isa ka person.
Yeah, but that's also understandable when you're still starting, right? Because you're
Yes.
still also establishing your name,
Bitaw.
building your network, and even your credibility as a
Okay.
journalist. Yeah,
So,
and it's not very easy to let people trust us or any person for that matter. What about you, Santino? What were the challenges? What challenges did you face?
I think familiarizing myself here sa Cebu because hindi ko familiar sa how the government works, how local government works.
Yeah,
Kung
It's a
sa mga
different culture.
offices, yes,
Yeah.
things like that. It's a big city.
True.
So you don't know.
I agree because I come from a small city,
Yeah.
Dumaguete.
Mm,
So coming to a bigger city like Cebu, it's also a challenge
should be.
physically.
Yeah. And then establishing your sources, your connection with your sources, and things like that, developing it. It's a challenge.
yes.
Jane, go ahead.
Mo
Yeah.
Jane, go
Sorry.
ahead.
Pareho dyan, sir, kanang di ka katuhuan, sir, mga, are you sure are you a reporter? Intern pa ka?
Intern pa
Oo,
siya.
intern pa
Yeah.
ka, or something like that, kanang, mga tanong ka, kanang, ikaw, Rajoy, na-adito ang that time, dyan, sir, ba, mayor, ay, edit, sige,
Second
Second sa mo interviewan, inom ka na, who are you? Oh my gosh, okay. Mo, kung anong zip dyan ka na, kanang, ipailan naman mo self, and dili ka dapat dali ma-discourage or ma-intimidate sa imuhang sources bisan o ginabuli ka or
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to imagine how you can be brave if you're this small.
Yes.
It's small.
Wow.
What they don't know is that it's part of the job. It's a risk that comes along with the job because as journalists, we are the bridge. We are the ones who get to ask people in power on behalf of those who don't have the capacity to ask them. Particularly during my time, because there was no social media then, so it was really the media that really bridged the gap between the haves and the have-nots. But today, we'll be discussing social media and the challenges we face today. But before that, Grace, when you were starting off, what were the challenges?
Naglahan ko yan kang Marvel, what makes it fulfilling man siguro sa amo, kay gagmay mo gi-message, kung pila ingat intern. Kani at the kanang mugaw sa kanang story ko, manas lang wayuhan ni mo sa kanang fair video ko sa inana ba mo ngun bitaw ko ni sir kanang. Ito ang challenges lang yun is pag start na ko is kanang choosing the best angles of the story para lang makalan kag banner story before, and then kanang how to write first and fast. And then how to tell your story in the most organized way na dili magbibog ang mga tao. Kay mo naglahi gyud ang orientation sa newspaper compared sa school, ano na ang school publication sa school. So nindot siya nga challenges kay maka-help mo to grow. Dugay ba message to grow. Professionally ba? Dugay ba ta sa mga nakauyon sila sa sinuwata.
Yeah, because for example, my challenge, I don't know if this is too shallow, but my challenge really before was how to write fast, meeting deadlines. Because when I started off as a reporter, I right away joined the Justice Beat, and it's very difficult to be covering the Justice Beat when you are very young, and you have to familiarize and the system, you have to understand legalese, you have to deal with lawyers, you have to attend hearings and all those things, and you have a deadline. So how do you get to write 3 stories in just 3 hours? So that is really the challenge for me. Which I'd like to believe I was able to overcome.
Oh, sir, grabe.
But yeah,
In years.
aside from those you mentioned sources, dealing with sources. What else? What were the challenges? Was it difficult practicing in a place that's far from home?
Oh, okay.
Or was it liberating on your part?
The hard shot first circuit, ay wala ko kaila as in wala siya kaila yun zero yun dire mo to maglisod ay already maglisod may establish yung connections. Nya wala ko kabalo sa mga jeep sir kung ako kabalo na office. Kasi yung taxi sir.
Wow.
Mahotel ko siya. Dili, tong general beat pa ko. Pero ako kabalo ang office sa DepEd and then so wala ko kabog yun.
But I think that's also one of the best things about being in a new place. And you're alone, your senses are open.
You get to discover new things.
You get to discover new things, and you are forced to really, do your best at everything. I think that's one of the and explore. Something what else?
I think the pressure also coming from your editors and your colleagues in the organization, like when you're asked to cover a certain event or activity, and then afterwards they ask you for the story, ask you questions in your story.
Yeah.
When you start, in my case, when I started, like, mangita gyud ko, I mean, I don't put all the information, like, magbuot-buot ko nga, kanin na part ko ikutan, which is based on my own judgment, and then eventually you get realize nga, it's better to put everything in, and then let your editor decide which detail is important and which detail can be taken out. But you also have to make sure that you really put the important, that the ones you think yourself are important at the first part, because so that they can just easily take out the latter part of your story if they find it too long or there's not enough space.
Yeah, was it a pressure coming from UP? Because they say, if you come from UP, you must be good, and then of course your professors are also practitioners.
Yeah,
Eventually became your colleagues. Yeah,
and a lot of my dream when I entered Cebu Daily News, a lot of my colleagues are also from UP, so there's that kind of pressure.
How did you overcome?
In my case, it's really practicing every day, like doing it every day, like writing every day, taking every opportunity to write, to cover new things so that you know what to do and what not to do, and to also listen, of course, what your editors say, because they know what they they need and what our readers need. So and they have the experience to prove that. So we just have to learn, and then don't be too attached to your copy.
Oh yes. There's always the temptation to be involved in the story we're writing emotionally because we're just human. That's really inevitable. But how do you? Yes, my question is in relation to what you're saying now. How do you distance yourself from the stories you're writing?
Actually, when I started, ma-hurt yun ko nga kana like I think of a very nice lead, things like that. In the published version, it's
Overhauled.
Yeah, overhauled. Like, this is not me anymore. But I think there comes a time when you really have to develop your own style of writing to the point that you have to prove to your editor na this is a good style. Like your editor would retain that style because if you overhaul yung sa mo editor, meaning dili pa yun siya good enough, or like it takes right, you just challenge yourself nga kanang I have to do better until nga you get the acknowledgement saying
that really hurts. Yeah, because I will never forget the words of our former publisher. At that time, he was our managing editor, and he was really the one who was the only one who could edit our page one story, the Freeman, as our Jerry to that. Who would always tell us, if your story gets overhauled, writing-wise, your name doesn't deserve to be in the byline.
Yes, actually.
And when that happens, that hurts.
Yes, it does.
That hurts. Okay, so I always say that we are our generation. We're not very far from each other. Our generation is quite lucky because we saw the transition from the traditional media to the advent of the internet and now social media. Before, it was a monopoly of reporting for us. That's why they label us as legacy media. And now, it's not just us who's reporting. And in that light, we have Kelly Kellogg's Diag, who is joining the conversation. Thanks for joining us, Kelly. And he says, I'm a social media thought influencer by a real talk, discussions that matter. My point of contention that being said, your topic about developmental journalism, how can you tell that you, mainstream media, has the monopoly of truth, quote unquote, by insinuating that us, bloggers, are proponent of fake news, but in fact, we don't accept, there's something wrong with the sentence, but we don't have that bribery from corrupt politician. That really means mainstream media, some of you really caters and report only what matters most to the envelope giver, right? Tell me about it. Okay, thanks for your question and for your thoughts, Kelly. Well, let me begin first. It is wrong to say that we have monopoly of truth. We don't have the monopoly of information. We don't have the monopoly of truth. We don't have the monopoly of knowledge. That's very wrong to say otherwise. And also, insinuate that bloggers are proponent of fake news, but in fact we don't accept the bribery from corrupt politicians. We don't insinuate. When you are in the press, you don't insinuate. You tell facts. And that's the reason why we have this kind of culture. We cultivate the culture of verification. We cultivate the culture of accountability because what we are saying are facts. So we don't insinuate. If we do say that there is someone who is spreading false information, that means we have proof that that person is spreading incorrect information or disinformation for that matter. Your thoughts?
I think.
And just to add to that, it's also wrong to say that bloggers are proponent of fake news in general.
We haven't labeled them actually.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's many people are used to labeling people in general terms.
Yeah.
Bloggers are proponents of fake news. I have many blogger friends who are proponent of correct information.
Even media people are even.
There are many media journalists who also
Do blogs.
have blogs.
blogs.
Yeah.
Yes, I think lang sir blogging is not wrong man siguro sir.
No, there is
yes. But It's a different story, good sir, when they masquerade themselves as reporters.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Okay, that's the.
That's where you
there
draw the
should be
line.
yes,
That's where you
there
draw the
should
line.
be a delineation of blogging and
Yeah.
reporting.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. That's true.
That's
And in fact, when blogging started in the United States, the bloggers in the United States became reliable sources of information from journalists there. These are people in power who actually, because they didn't have enough access to media organizations, they share their thoughts via their personal blogs online. And eventually they became sources of information by journalists in the US. But it's a different culture altogether in the Philippines right now. And as Ma'am Jean pointed out earlier, there's a difference when you do your blog innocently,
yes.
right? If you share your thoughts on issues there's a difference between that and when you masquerade yourself as a journalist.
Yes, yes.
That's where the danger lies. That's where the danger lies. Okay, thoughts?
What?
Princess.
Go ahead.
First ako I cannot say anything because he said everything.
The door my boss.
That's my boss. Of course,
No, because this is already out there,
Yeah.
so it's high time that we discuss openly.
But I think ang ako lang yun, sir, is there's no need to fight among the bloggers and media people. Ang ako lang is, I just want nga magka-unite kita against fake news. We all know nga kanang fake news is, it's not really healthy, it really causes panic. So, pwede tinabangay na lang ta kaysa masigitag ka ng away-away mo, tag ka ng dili kita responsible sa atong actions pa. So, for example, I hope atong mga blogger friends kanang are open to dialogue na kanang pwede atong hapsayon ba kay. Kita na lang mo initiate nga hapsayon ang social media nga platform ba. Kita na lang mo hatag og example sa ilaha and guide those na others na kanang mo share og mga fake news or mga barrier of fake news nga kanang stop doing it ba.
Where did this so-called animosity or fight, how did this begin in the first place? How did you think this
Wala
began?
pa kayo meaning sa fake news in the first place.
No, because I'm always thinking, where did this really begin? How did this really begin? Because in the first place, us in the media, we were really the ones in the front line. We were really the proponents for empowerment online, and now we have people who share their thoughts online these days, almost uncontrollably.
I agree that there really has to be a delineation because as much as we respect bloggers, when you talk about journalism and reporting, those in the media industry we have that training in school and in the field, and we have that system of reporting, of gathering information. Yes, we have our own code of ethics. And then here comes a new medium that you can just run by yourself.
And
So
post anything.
yeah, so even for us in the media, there really has to be that sense of self-regulation and
Gatekeeping.
yes, policing our own ranks.
Yeah.
Because we are not, unlike government agencies, for example, we are not, or those in the private sector, we are not governed by any actual like,
Regulating
government-
body,
Yes,
yeah.
regulating body. So there has to be that sense of dedication to your work, and then for bloggers, of course, we don't say that they don't have that training, but there has to be a certain I'm not sure if the right term is market, but when you say bloggers, they have their own set of readers.
Demographic,
and-
yeah.
Yes, demographic. So yeah.
What about you guys?
It boils down again to accessibility sa platform. So everyone thinks they can write news, they can write the story. So why nga mo bilhin pa man mi sa media, nga ang bloggers, then they can access as well, they can post videos, they can post anything yun. So ang ako rin yun, sir, ako rin yung dream karon is I don't want the print industry to die, but I want the industry, the media industry as a whole, to make use of this online platform kanang i-maximize kaya nato siya, make it kanang as an advantage to us, and then kanang make it something kabauta man ang problem sa fake news. So why not let's start fighting against it? Kanang mas vocal ganita sa ato intention against it. Na especially sa ubang mga pages nila, we can actually report it to Facebook. Daghan kaayong measures on Facebook provide against fake news. So why not kanang use it ba?
Because it's tedious. People don't want to
Because they
undergo.
like comfortable, easy way.
They want the easy way. Okay, but just a few points on that note. We are not saying, definitely what we are certain of is that the media is not faultless. We have many faults. We commit mistakes even on a daily basis, right? But it doesn't mean that just because you have a cell phone, just because you have internet connection, you can automatically become a journalist. Just because you can take a picture or video or write a story, you can automatically become a journalist. You must have that culture and the discipline of journalism if you want to be a journalist. That's where we draw the line, and that's where we take offense if someone who claims that he can be a reporter just because he has a mobile phone and fast internet connection. That's where we take offense. I think that's I can speak in behalf of others. Anyone can be a journalist. All you have to do is have that discipline of journalism, the discipline of verification, making sure what you're sharing and saying is correct, making sure that you have credible sources, making sure that you will be accountable for what you put out there. In other words, if you commit a mistake, you correct it and you accept it, and make sure that you follow up on your stories, the stories that you write. Because journalism is a calling. We do this on a daily basis. As I shared with young students during the CDN forum last Tuesday, it cannot be that I want to report a story today, then you forget about it. That you want to do journalism or reporting only when you are comfortable, or only because you want to do it, only because you have a fast internet connection. That can't be the case. If you want to do journalism, you have to do it on a constant basis. And most importantly, you must be able to be accountable for what you do. I think that's where we have to draw the line. And if you want to join us, why not? We need more people in journalism. More than ever. More than ever. Okay, your thoughts. The industry, the profession in general is facing a lot of challenges. The challenges of digital. We'll be discussing this in another chat with members of the online journalists of Cebu. But would you still encourage young journalists, aspiring journalists, student journalists to be part of the profession? There are fears that the newspaper industry, because there are fears that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the newspaper industry will disappear.
Yes.
I disagree to that.
We hope not. We hope not. But with the many challenges now, I think there is, this is the most exciting time to practice journalism with technology and innovation, all that. This is also the most difficult time to practice journalism.
We need more people to champion for our cause accurate reporting and give people the right information so we can make well-informed decisions and choices.
Yeah.
So we need more people to.
We need more people like Ma'am Princess.
Wow.
Who did not hesitate to cross the seas to pursue her dream of joining the profession. Sir Sandy.
As a come-on siguro, there really so much can learn in the industry, like things that I never thought I could learn inside an office. That was one of the reasons why I chose this career. You get to experience a different experience every day. You're not stuck in an office doing routine work. Could you just imagine the trove of experiences you can get in every day, like going out there in the field, meeting a lot of people. So it is a good profession for those who want to gather more experiences than wealth. Siguro, things like that. Not everyone is like that, pero for those who are up to the challenge, it's really a good opportunity.
Okay. Mamshi, yeah, go ahead, please.
I'm not really a talented reporter compared to these people I'm with. But I ended up working for the publication I love. And for those budding journalists out there, continue to chase your dreams. Because you never know nga mo abot ra gyapon ang time nga naapaghapon ang mainstream media nga mo hatag og information, verified information nga mo matter sa public. And ana ra siguro sir, if nakaabot man gani ko diri, everyone can also, pero ang ako ano man gud siguro sir kay this profession man gud is very full of surprises, and where every day you'll never know what's gonna happen, or every single day kay bisag unsa dyan man. So if you're up to that challenge, kanang go grab the opportunity. Pero ang problem lang siguro karon sir is murag kulang pa siguro og kanang positions ang industry siguro para sa mga new entrants. So pero you're still welcome.
We'll pull through.
Yeah.
Ito.
Ma'am Grace.
Ako sir, I don't believe the newspaper industry is dying good unless the constitution will be amended good, and the effectivity of the laws.
The law student is speaking.
Dugay pa manggod kayo ma-amend ang constitution. Basta complicated kayo. Pero I have faith, I have kanang trust good, I have high hopes sa mga tao nga nag-continue og trust sa media, sa traditional media. And those kids, children, students, young aspiring journalists, naganahan mo appeal sa ato industry. Because if you go to schools, if you go to other kind of places, dagan kayo mag-wonder how we do our job. And then, kanang maingon kanila nga, dili ba 85 job amo ang industry ha, then kanang every day is a new day yun, as in bagong experience, kanang dagan kay mga surprises. So, ma-amaze sila ba? So, let's touch on them ba? Let's kanang strengthen, let's kanang make them as a foundation good to continue our passion good for responsible journalism and for truth, for waves of truth.
Wow.
Okay.
Diba?
Lastly, your biggest lessons from journalism. Just one.
You have to make
Let's start there.
sacrifices.
Okay, go
start
ahead.
there.
Yes, please.
You have to na personal sacrifice kay at first I never thought nga I could no longer join sa ang mga family reunions.
Yes.
Kay you have to choose nga to be on the field kay ang kanang heart to serve ba.
Yeah.
This is a passion driven job or a vocation.
Because when the news breaks, everything
Yes.
else has to stop behind.
Yes, so you have to learn to sacrifice your personal sacrifices. Mawala dyan siguro, sir.
Okay, it's very noble. Yeah, go ahead.
I haven't thought of it yet.
Oh my gosh, you're so tagal. Lesson nga, until now, I am practicing it is always tell the truth good. Kanang verify. Lesson mo gud na siya kay na may times nga night times. Basta lesson siya, and then I hope other people, even sa kanang naa sa uban nga mga kauban nga media practitioners, and then also other persons na trying to write good or trying to be media practitioners, kanang try the discipline of truth, kanang try to write for the truth, and then you'll never go wrong. Jima.
Go ahead, Ma'am Princess.
Aside sa accuracy also, when you write stories, you should be accurate para walay room for questions ba. Kaya kung ikaw mismo na reporter, aksabot sa imong storya, how much more ang readers? So,
It's the very least that we can give our readers and our followers.
We owe it to them.
Yes, because we'd like to put it in context. accuracy does not necessarily mean completeness,
Mm.
right? Because it's not every day that you get the whole story right away. Particularly in this time and age when you beat a minute to minute, if not a second to
Yes.
second deadline, you just can't get the whole story
And
right
people
away.
are demanding.
Yes.
Or thinking
Yeah.
that we can get everything.
Yes, but the discipline is that whatever you share with the people at that specific time frame, you have to make sure that that is correct, that is accurate. That's the very least that you can do. Susan?
Okay, okay, nako. I think the biggest lesson that journalism taught me is accountability.
Wow.
Yes.
Your byline is there not just for the glory of it, like just because it's not there to make you feel good about yourself. It's there for you as a reminder that you are accountable to what you write and what you let your readers know. You have to, and from that sense of accountability, you get to develop that responsibility to what you do, to what you write, and to what you put out there. So yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, for me, the biggest lesson journalism has taught me is humility. That is really the biggest lesson. Because if you want to practice real journalism, you have to realize and accept the fact that you are not the star.
Yes.
I'm sure you agree with me. Really, that's the biggest lesson. You are not the star if you practice journalism, because this is service.
Yeah.
This is public service that you do, and if you want to do real public service, you have to be behind. You have to do the dirty work, the legwork, and that's exactly what I love about journalism. It allows you to give public service without getting into politics.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
So that's the biggest lesson for me. Okay, would like to say hi to our friends, Ma'am or Miss Angelis De La Torre
Hi,
around
hi,
watching, and of course our colleague in the Philippine Star, the assistant news entertainment editor of the Philippine Star, Natalie Adele Tomada, also watching. Thanks for joining us, Nats. And like to say hi to Carla Rule, our entertainment writer in the Freeman. Thanks for joining. And Duke Campos Macaso. Thanks for joining us today. Last words.
Thank you
Before
for
we wrap
having
up.
us.
Yeah,
Thank you for
of course.
having
Yes,
us.
yes,
Thank you for having us,
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and maybe I can speak on behalf of everyone that would like to say thank you and congratulations to the rest of our colleagues in the Cebu media and everyone else who's doing journalism in the Philippines and all over the world. This is a noble profession. I hope that we continue to believe that as long as we stick to our values, as long as we stick to what we believe in. As we have shared the CDN forum also last Tuesday, the primary purpose of why we're here is because we want to share information that can help other people make decisions for themselves and hopefully make their lives better. So congratulations to the journalists who continue to be honest and accountable. And again, thank you very much for joining us today, Sir Santino of CDN, Ma'am Princess. Your newsroom is now looking for you. And of course, my colleagues in the Freeman, Ma'am Grace Lacamiento and Ma'am Jean
Happy
Demasilio.
Press Freedom.
Happy Press
Happy Press
Freedom.
Freedom.
And to all of you,
Wait.
to our colleagues in the media, and to all who continue to believe in the press and the freedom of the press, happy Press Freedom Week to all of us. And join us again next time, because here in the Freeman, every story is a conversation. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jobert Ocal, the online editor of the Freeman.